Welcome to Required Taste Podcast. We are back. It's your boy Tech Daddy.
It's Queen Bee.
We have been here.
I'm an adult without a nickname.
This is true. You know, we are currently without Deej this week. He's, I don't know what the fuck he's doing. He's somewhere, probably lost in a forest or some shit.
Doing DJ things.
You can be assured he's squinting.
You can be assured he's confused.
Wandering around.
Right.
Lost.
Just lost in the sauce, obviously. Obviously.
Yeah.
Yes, we are back this week. Welcome to Required Taste Podcast. If you are new, we appreciate you guys giving us a listen. We're a history podcast. Comedy, I think. They were kind of funny. A little mystery. We did a little bit of everything.
Subjective.
But, you know, our humor might not be here for everybody, but who knows? Hopefully you all like it.
I'm hilarious.
I
think we're funny.
I think we're pretty funny. This is true. If you're a returning listener, welcome back. We appreciate you, your support. We feel it. We love it. And this Saturday, we are doing a beer release at Foreign Local. We'll have a burger that Ben actually came up with the idea for. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty tight. We got a beer coming out. Got a burger collab with Turnip Seed. Come out to Foreign Local in Hammond. Check us out.
Hell yeah.
Also, you get forehead kisses. Normally is B and Deej, but Deej's not here. So
just solo forehead kisses.
It's
today.
cool, but they got him though. That's the important part. You know, I just realized, Ben, you said you don't have a nickname. I give nicknames often, and I feel like I
gave me my nickname.
I gave same with Big Cat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Big Cat came from me as well. Actually,
Ben needs a nickname.
I think that's what he was alluding to.
It just kind of happens. This kind of happens, so we're gonna work that out one of these days. I need to have we need to hang out more. Is what it is. I need to see more of you, and it'll just kind of happen.
Yeah, you guys definitely don't spend enough time together.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
That's funny. We're actually talking about that over the weekend.
Yeah, yeah. The way life goes.
Yeah. How getting older is a trap, and you lose friends for no damn reason. Mm-hmm. Well, not really for no reason. We all get old and spread out, and you know how it is.
And sometimes you're broke and you don't get to go on a trip with your friends.
At least I invited you.
I did get invited this time. Progress, guys.
We are realizing slowly but surely that we just leave B out of everything.
There's still a patio that we have not witnessed.
Okay, well that's her fault not calling us over.
That's me.
So tit for tat here.
That's true. Yeah, we realize that we're just horrible friends. Don't tell her shit.
Yeah.
Here's what we're doing the podcast. Why do you tell me? Oh, yeah.
We forgot about you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Whoops.
Thanks, guys.
It's not on purpose.
Appreciate it.
Bring back so many memories. Why did they leave me?
Yeah, I've got abandonment issues, so this could get muddy really fast.
I mean, Ben is an abandonment issue. I love that your birth family does listen to this.
Oh, yeah. And they love it.
It's good.
Yeah, they love it.
Why am I the only one here without an energy drink?
I have some in the fridge if you want one.
Appreciate it. Thank you, though.
You're wired
I should have brought one. It's my fault.
Well, next time if you need one, I have I buy these in bulk.
You know, I know I snapped it to you. Did I snap it to you too? The caffeinated water.
No. I did see that. Yes.
Yeah. So I found caffeinated water at Meijer, and it's literally just a bottle of water with caffeine in it.
How's it taste?
Like water. Yeah, it literally just tastes like bottled water, but it's got a little less caffeine than an energy drink in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much caffeine we talking here?
It was 160 milligrams, I think.
Oh yeah, that's not gonna do it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, but it's I could drink regular water with my energy drink and my coffee, or I could drink caffeinated water with my energy drink and my coffee.
I get what you're going for here.
Yeah.
I could drink nothing or bring down a horse.
Yeah. There is some middle ground with me.
I actually don't even know how much caffeine is in it.
Yeah, I'm actually looking right now. I'm pretty sure it's 200 or 300. I can't remember. Yeah, I only drink one energy drink a day. I don't
Same.
do
It takes me forever to drink these. That's why I drink this.
Oh yeah, that'll do it. Well, I usually need them in the morning when I'm around 10 o'clock is usually when I need that little pick me up because I eat breakfast and then I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, 150 milligrams per can.
Okay.
So like I'm trying to like not consume as many calories.
Sure.
So I'm thinking like, instead of the coffee with the creamer and the sugar and the bullshit or the energy drink with all the sugar, water, right?
Right.
In theory.
I get it.
Yeah.
I tried that Liquid Death for the first time.
It's water in a can.
Yeah, I know. I know. But I was interested. And because leftover from being a cigarette smoker, I really just don't like drinking unflavored water.
Okay.
Essentially, just because there was nothing worse than having water after you had a cigarette.
Oh, it tastes awful, dude.
Terrible.
It's one of the worst tastes in the world. Yeah, it's terrible.
It's like drinking orange juice after you brush your teeth.
No, it's like wet cotton is in your mouth.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a horrible taste. I used to have to have like a cigarette and a beer to kind of cleanse it, and then I'll have some water.
I had to have soda, Gatorade, just anything with flavor.
Well, a lot of people don't like just plain water. It's hard to drink just plain water for a lot of people.
I love plain water. I have a clip of it right here. But,
if I'm thirsty, then yeah. But if I'm just like
that ghost?
Yeah, like the ghost that haunts my house.
The thirst ghost?
The thirst ghost. Yeah.
Swiggy swooty. Come for that booty. Also, boo bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you all have been a listener of the podcast for a while, you'll notice that that B's house has so many things going on with it.
It's literally the happening.
Yeah. My house is not only falling apart on a regular basis, but it's also haunted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's haunted. It has a portal to, I believe, some type of bug.
Yeah, cricket portal.
Cricket portal.
Cricket portal.
Fucking what?
A cricket portal.
Yeah, you weren't on the episode of that podcast, so you didn't hear the story about it.
Okay.
But yeah, there was a portal to a planet of crickets.
Yeah,
that just opens in our home.
Crickets would just appear in my house like daily.
Imagine like Doctor Strange, but a cricket.
Yeah,
just opening the portals and shit.
Did you shut the door?
I mean, the door wasn't even open.
Hence the portal.
They were coming through the portal, Ben.
Right, obviously.
Hello.
Have you been listening?
Pay attention.
I am.
Jeez. I like how we've been a podcast for 2 years, and this is the first time you guys have been on the same episode together.
I know, that's so crazy.
Other than the one where she was,
I was just hanging out.
I don't remember. That was one of the early ones. I don't remember what it was.
That was the that was the China social credit score.
Yeah, because you had the blacklist comments.
Yep, from deep.
Just me back there.
Yeah. Right, in the shadows.
In the shadows, in the comments.
Like the state.
Right, like China, actually. Full circle. If you've never listened to the China Social Credit Score episode, please go back. Do yourself a favor. It's a really, really informative episode about what the future of our world might become if we really let our government go unchecked.
Arguably when we started getting good.
That's because when I started.
But you spoke twice.
But that's when I started getting on the podcast. So
yeah, when we brought B on because our social media was fucking shit. Like we need help.
It's like slightly better now.
I mean, yeah, the posts are definitely better. I'll give you all the credit in the world for that. The posts are definitely better.
Of all the Facebook posts, this is one.
Yes, this is a post that exists.
Kidding, they're terrific, and I enjoyed Ben's signature yelling the other day.
I mean, am I wrong?
Yeah, right.
I don't think so.
No, not at all. Anyways, so this week, we normally have a question every time we start off. Usually DJ comes up with it. I didn't even think about doing it today. It's my day off, dude. Anyways, so normally do a little banter. I think that counts. And we dive into the subject. So this week, I had an idea. And then I completely went off the fucking rails with it because you know how that goes. But so my idea this week is that the movie Ministry of Ungentlely Warfare came out with Henry Cavill. And I actually really want to see that movie. It's a Guy Ritchie movie, and I love his movies. So
is he dying soon?
He's just dropping shit like back to back to back.
I mean, it used to be years between his movies, and then just like you said, back to back to back.
I blame Madonna.
Fair.
Because he got divorced from her and just started dropping just movie after movie after movie.
Oh, I just blame Madonna.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah,
just in general.
Just in general.
Remember when she got that fake British accent after marrying him?
Oh, yeah. That was funny.
That was weird.
I remember her fake face, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's unpleasant to look at. You remember Clayface from Batman?
Of course I do.
There you go.
Fair enough.
I support you, Madonna.
So,
so do all her doctors.
I mean, they gotta get to that vacation house somehow.
Madonna, we know you're listening.
I can't think of Madonna and not think of pointy bras.
Yeah, that's hers. Like,
obviously.
That's all I can. That's all that comes to mind. I can't remember any of the songs really. I mean, other than the Virgin one. Other than that, Virgin, and ironically, pointy bras.
Well, we were born in the 80s, dude. Like, that's part of us. Like, forever. Oh, man, we're old, dude.
Yeah, well, the Soviet Union was around.
The
Berlin Wall was up.
So you don't know any other Madonna songs other than like a Virgin?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, gun to my head, I couldn't name more than
interesting.
Maybe like two.
Interesting.
The pop culture thing is a terrible thing with me.
That's like literally what I live for.
I know.
Yeah.
So, that's so strange.
Yeah, anyway. Like the reason I remember why half of these people, what their faces look like, is from like posters in high school in people's lockers.
It's just like
stuff like that.
It's just like Madonna and her songs seem so like ubiquitous. Like everyone would know Madonna songs. It's just weird to me that you don't.
She wasn't like a pop icon for me when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I had Michael Jackson and Prince.
She was like, when I was I'm a little bit younger than you guys, but when I was growing up, she was like already past her heyday, I guess.
Sure.
And then she had a little bit of a renaissance when the whole Britney Spears thing happened.
I forgot about that.
Wasn't that the Super Bowl?
No, that was the VMAs, I think.
Oh, okay.
Super Bowl was the Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake thing.
Well, no, that I remember.
I will never forget it.
Of course you remember that.
I'll never forget it. But I can also name more than 5 Janet Jackson songs.
I didn't watch it.
I watched it.
You didn't watch it?
Who cares? It's a Super Bowl.
I'm a sports fan, so I'm a little different on that one. But I remember I was watching it. In that era, I was still going to church with my parents, and the church I went to was a super church.
Oh, no.
Oh, it was great. So they had these 3 giant projectors watching the Super Bowl, and I'm sitting up in like the balcony area with my friends watching the game. And next thing you know, I see, and at the time I was still, practicing Christian. So I'm like, behold, God's favor upon me. The titty I've been waiting to see my entire life was given to me in church.
And then immediately the TV turns off. Repent!
Oh man! I can feel the secondhand scandalized.
Because it's so great because like the people that were operating the projector, like that section of like what the soundboard is, projector, all that stuff. Everybody was like, we're all just chilling, watching the performance. Nobody was ready for that.
No one knew that was going to happen.
Scramble, like, oh my god, what do we do? One of the greatest moments of my
Pluck
life.
Out your eyes.
That poor lady.
They're causing you to sin.
I have been waiting to see that titty my entire life. That was a blessing.
I do remember the controversy about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, about like possible sabotage. And, like there was a whole conspiracy.
Yeah. So I think it turned out that it was planned, and it was a collaboration between her and Justin. And like she took most of the heat for it, and he just kind of let it happen. Yeah. So a lot of people were dogging on him for a minute when that kind of came out as what was really going on.
He's caught a lot of shit. For a lot of
really he's kind of a douchebag.
Like looking back at it, yeah. Because that whole thing happened, the whole thing with Britney's going on, with her documentary coming out.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I'm going to come out with a new album.
Yeah, bad move. Bad move.
Pretty much that whole celebrity.
It actually was a pretty good album, though.
Did you listen to it?
Yeah, I did.
Interesting.
It's pretty fucking good, actually.
Who are we talking about?
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I knew that it was like planned because her titty was decorated. It
was also pierced.
That's what I'm saying. She had like a really fancy like nipple piercing. And I was like, "There's no way that's
it was her going out piercings.
It was her going out.
Well, not the staying in, reading a book.
Because I used to have my nipples pierced for quite some time, and I never had anything fancy on them. They just were
fancy, and you don't just like go out with those just for no reason. There's no logical reason to have a titty piercing that fancy, like if you're not going to show it off. That's all I'm saying.
Indeed.
So it had to be. Anyway, sorry, we're getting off track.
That we have today. So yeah, like I mentioned before, the movie Ministry for Gentlemanly Warfare is came out, I think, last week. I still want to see it. because again, love Guy Ritchie, Guy Ritchie's movies, and Henry Cavill's a pretty good actor. Actually, I'm a fan of him, anyways. So as a person and as an actor, I like Henry Cavill.
A beautiful man.
He's also a really large nerd, so I fucks with that because not every nerd has to be a sweaty basement troller. He's like, there's other nerds out there.
There are attractive nerds.
Gives us hope. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate you for making it real. So yeah, so I'm thinking about like, okay, well, I know a bit about the story beforehand. Like, I knew that it was an actual operation that happened. I haven't seen the movie yet because I haven't had the time. I was out of town this past week and whatever, you know that. But I'm like, okay, let me look into what this was actually about. So I figured, let's do a podcast about it. And then I realized, okay, this was really about one operation and that's it. Mm-hmm. So then I'm like, well, there's a rabbit hole I'm going to fall down. Cause I was like reading through it, okay, da-da-da. And then I found 2 other operations I want to speak about, also during World War II, also involving subterfuge, and one involving a dead homeless man. So there's that. And also a movie about that too, actually.
That sounds familiar.
A movie came out, I think 2 years ago?
I think I know what you're talking about.
It was called Operation Mesmeat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a movie, came out 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
I thought
3 or 4 years ago, and it ties into everybody else's other favorite film franchise. Mincemeat.
Which one was it?
Really? Seriously?
I can't think off the top of my head.
Ian Fleming was part of that operation.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the James Bond creator.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, his name did come up for that.
I
Yes.
thought didn't we talk about that on the podcast before?
I think I mentioned it briefly.
Okay. Maybe
very briefly.
I like came across it in my research or something for something else. Because I definitely know about that one. But
yeah, we're gonna cover that very briefly. I have that. I got one more in here too.
That one's crazy though.
I was like, I got mine.
Oh yeah, so we're gonna talk about some military operations during World War II. The ones I have covered are all early World War II, when the Allies were still getting their asses handed to them by the Axis, and everything's kind of fucked.
When the Allies were down to one ally.
Yeah, that's about right. That's the best way to say it.
Ironically, my operation is the one that I want them to make a movie out of. Because it's a shame and a shock it hasn't happened.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A shame and a shock.
And a shock. That's a lot.
And a shock.
And a shame.
It's called a twofer.
All right, well, let's dive into it.
Cool, let's go.
So the first one we're going to bring up is, like I mentioned before, from the movie that recently came out. The operation's actual name was Operation Postmaster. This takes place January 1942. So, like I mentioned before, this is kind of early wartime. This is right after the quote unquote ally.
The one ally.
It was Britain at this point. It was like, well, France got their asses kicked. Beginning of the war. So
isn't it kind of the little phony war period?
This is after Dunkirk.
Is it? Oh, fair.
So this is real wartime.
What's that?
So to give context to what Ben just mentioned, though, so there was a time where there was the phony war period of World War II. Hitler at the time had just conquered Poland with Russia, and at the time, that's when France and Britain were like, "All right, Hitler, that's enough. That's enough of that. We're going to war with you, dude. Like, you doing some bullshit." Hitler was like, "But why me?" And they're like, "Fuck you, dude." Was? Fuck you, dude. Anyways, this whole thing. So, because Hitler was actually surprised that the Allies were, like, dude, we're going to war with you now. Like, what are you?
No, he thought he was going to get one more nation.
He thought he was like, yeah, because he had, what was it? Austria.
Mm-hmm. Austria, Czechoslovakia, Poland.
And then, Poland was the last straw.
Yeah. He's like, I'm just feeling so attacked right now.
Literally. Like,
I don't understand. Why?
Why are you mad at me?
Why are you mad at me?
Why are you mad at me for?
What have I done?
The Germans, the most sympathetic of people.
So
I do not deserve all this hate.
Literally was like sitting there like gaslighting everybody. Like he was oh fuck.
Wow. Wow.
We call
that one wasn't even bad.
We call that in the business. Thank you. We call that in the business pulling the bend.
Oh man. Wait, how long have we been recording?
20 minutes.
We're only 20 minutes in.
And only like 5 minutes into our actual topic. So, yeah, that just happened fast.
Anyway.
Anywho.
Moving on.
Would you say you steamrolled into that point?
Oh, boy. And we're canceled.
It's fine. Semantics. So after the war was declared, you had France and the marginal line be occupied, which is like you have this essentially this area of fortification between France and Germany, where you just had like a bunch of like entrenchments,
emplacements,
like a bunch of cannons. Like essentially, like, it was a fortress built between France and Germany, because last time they didn't have that, Germany steamrolled that ass, and they didn't want that to happen again. So
steamrolling. Watch your words, Aaron.
Anyways, so the French army occupied that area. Britain sent over their the British expeditionary force. Thank you. That word was a little hard there.
I feel you.
To say yes. Anyways,
words are hard.
So so you had Britain, France. Their forces were at the marginal line, sitting there hanging out, and Hitler didn't invade. That Germany didn't invade, so they're just like literally just hanging out. Like they had concerts. They were pretty much on vacation. And so they weren't. So, again, marginal line to the north, there was the Ardennes Forest. Hitler and the German forces drove their tanks through the Ardennes, which the Allies thought was impossible. They were wrong. Anyways, battle, fight, France. France retreats, of course. And then you have battle.
9.
Han baguette, we gotta fucking go. and so they retreated, and you have the Battle of Dunkirk, where England evacuated as many people as they could.
That's the movie Harry Styles was in, right?
Oh, was it Harry Styles? I don't know. Harry Styles is a singer, isn't it?
Yeah, but he was also in that movie, I believe.
Was he? Yeah. I know Tom Holland was in it, or not Tom Holland. Tom Hardy was in it.
Yeah, the movie was good.
I enjoyed it because they used not a lot of dialogue, but a lot of music to build tension, which I thought was great. Because I think the first 5 or 10 minutes of that movie didn't have any dialogue in it. Oh,
no,
yeah.
Harry Styles.
Yeah, because Cillian Murphy was in it too.
Yeah.
It's the only time I think Christopher Nolan's practical effects stuff has really like let him down, though. Like they should have filled that beach with CGI.
Yeah, I agree with that.
For the long shots, Aaron, because it didn't show.
Yeah, because we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people that were just sitting there.
I mean, it's, like if enough people there that if England lost their men, they're done. Like that's how many people were on that beach.
Was a stroke of luck for 2 reasons. So one, the German forces stopped their advance mainly because they said their supply lines weren't right. But you had hundreds of thousands of soldiers from England and from France, and their last holdout, literally last hope, them on a beach in the ocean. That's all they had. The Germans actually stopped their advance, allowing them to escape. If they hadn't, my German would be better than it is right now. Possibly. I'm not. Oh man, that's a whole other story. But anyways, that's a joke. I'm not saying that they would have won the war by any means, but still, it would have been a much more difficult fight.
I do love those people, though. If Hitler had just done this, no.
Yeah, I was joking.
No. I know you were, but we've had that discussion before.
Yeah.
Nazi Germany was a road flare. It burned hot and fast.
Yeah,
it was going to be done.
Yeah. So essentially, Dunkirk was evacuated. England survived to fight another day. France surrendered, and the rest is
well, history.
Yeah.
France's thing to sit around and smoke and eat another day.
So going now, catching up with the story of the day. Operation Postmaster. This is 1942. So right after Dunkirk was evacuated, what ended up happening was there was the neutral country of Spain. This actually takes place in. So yeah, I'm sorry. He did air quotes. We don't have video, so yeah.
Yet.
DJ. Anyways, he has the GoPros.
I just wasn't ready.
I was like, anyways, who's not here today? Whatever.
We're Oh, we could just make it happen without him. You know that, right?
Hence what we're recording today. We're doing it without him.
We don't need you, DJ. You hear us?
He is going to listen to this, too. It's going to be funny.
Yeah. Just kidding.
Yeah, right.
I'm not. And I'm in your chair. Do something.
Yeah, Ben did like air quotes with neutral
Spain.
Yeah, so Spain was on paper neutral, but we're helping out the Germans a lot.
Yeah.
And
they were run by a fascist at the time.
Exactly. So what was going on at this time is obviously the United States at the time also being neutral, quote unquote.
Financial belligerent.
Yeah, that's about right. So the United States was sending over supplies to England. That's the whole part of the war where you have a lot of them being sunk by the U-boats. A lot of those U-boats were being resupplied in Spain. Like they had bases around the Spanish ports, and they were being resupplied there to go and sink more U.S. Merchant vessels and British merchant vessels as well. So this operation was essentially to take out some of those supply ships and start to cripple the U-boat fleet, so they don't have the supplies to keep their warfare going. So, of course, the movie's going to, embellish a bit, but, this was actually done, which I thought was interesting, though, was an operation done by the Special Operations Executive, the SOE, which is Britain's spy network for foreign power. So, kind of like our CIA, but with an accent.
Yeah.
Sounds way hotter.
It's a little intelligence, a little paramilitary. Mm-hmm. It's kind of its own animal. Well,
because it reminded me a lot of how our CIA and, for example, our SEAL teams work together. Mm-hmm. So, like, you have a small group of intelligence officers and a small, specially trained group of soldiers that work with them. Mm-hmm. So that would be, in this instance, the SOE and the small SEAL rating force from Britain. So what was kind of cool about the SOE, which I didn't dive into it too much because I know a bit more about it, but I didn't want to dive into it because of how bad some of their shit went. Like, how many people died because of their poor planning.
Yep.
How many foreigners were killed because of their fucking fuck ups.
They were more concerned with their funny nicknames.
Yeah, it's true actually. But they had a lot of operations to try to cripple Germany and try to fuck up Germany's supply lines and all that stuff. Like pretty much try to incite revolutions in mainland Europe. They did a lot of things to try to quote unquote help people out on the mainland Europe, and they got killed a lot. These people died horribly in large amounts. Like they were they barely trained half of them.
Oh,
it's just
that's
whatever.
Not a good idea.
There's a lot to that. So their backstory. Okay. That's that we
another
can
get,
time. Sure. So they employ 13,000 people. Cool part though, 3,200 of those employees were actually women. So
nice.
So they like, hey, men, women, children, we don't give a fuck. You hate Nazis, so come with us.
You know who's really good at getting information out of men? Women.
Yeah, that's true. The poom poom will fuck us all the way up. Anywho, so this group they were credited with doing a lot of sabotage, a lot of espionage in Europe, and they were successful. It's just I feel like the successes are overshadowed by their failures, and they don't get talked about enough for their failures.
They threw a lot at the wall. And saw what stuck, but that was the times they were in.
Well, they were desperate,
exactly,
because at the time you lost. Europe itself was under the clutches of Nazi Germany, and America wasn't coming to help.
Yeah, so, and you're in bombing range of Nazi Germany once it takes over France. Mm-hmm. It's something we haven't ever seen.
Yeah, they were. There was an island versus Europe.
Yeah,
it was the ally versus Europe. So, like I said before, this was coming in right after Dunkirk evacuation was finished. Their British commandos were used, the small scale raiding force. Formed in 1941, they were part of the SOE, like I said before. This particular group was called the 62 Commando Unit, comprised of 55 people. So again, small force, small intelligence force, small operating force. Here let's go fuck up some Nazis, essentially. The plan of the mission, which again different from the movie. In the movie, they actually blow up this ship. In real life, they actually captured it. So they captured a few different supply ships that were again supplying the.
Aren't there like bombs involved somewhere?
There are. So they didn't use them to blow up the ship, though. They did use them to blow up the anchors attaching the ships.
Oh, okay, yeah, because they put them on the chains.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so the ships were actually anchored together. I think it was 3 of them. Were anchored together. They were all were blown up. Well, the anchors were blown up because of the shock of the explosions. They thought they were getting raided by air. So they're like, "They're in the air." No, they're not.
I'm just imagining that German captain watching his boat float away with no anchors, and das is not good.
I believe the term is Scheiße.
Yeah, I said that a bunch during the Heydrich episode, so I gotta change it. Scheiße! Never mind, it still feels good. Continue.
Das ist nicht sehr gut, mein Bruder. Oh, Hitler's going to be pissed.
Left me just like my Fraulein.
Just like Frau.
I heard someone said, I heard something somewhere that the captain was asleep and he woke up and he was like, "Where's my boat?"
Woher ist meine Boot?
Wer ist mein Boot?
So what you're telling me is that shitty 2000s movie, Dude, Where's My Car?
was based on Operation Postmaster.
Loosely based on true events.
Yes.
Indeed.
That's what I'm telling you.
Indeed. So like I was just mentioning, they thought it was an air raid, so they didn't actually look at people still on the boats. They didn't know that it was just a commando unit stealing the boats. They thought it was them being bombed. So the movie's going to give, of course, way more action. It's Guy Ritchie. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be, very
It's going to be stylized, music,
of course,
all that.
Unfortunately, that didn't happen. It's just some dudes.
Unfortunately, Inglourious Basterds didn't happen.
Oh,
it's still fun to watch.
It is. I do love me some Inglourious Basterds.
Terrible plan at the end, but still.
I take that deal.
I haven't seen that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tarantino and
good movie.
Got some Brad Pitt.
I just never had the opportunity.
Do I own it? I don't own that one. Is it on Netflix?
Probably.
I think it is.
All the Jewish soldiers are pretty much in a whole bunch of other stuff and everything, but they're usually like side actors.
It's funny. I actually do mention the Jewish mafia in this, so I'm going to get there.
Oh.
Different operation, but yes.
Oh, yeah.
Jewish mafia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, during New York's early days.
Not nearly as, they're more frugal than the Italians. You thought you were going to one-up me?
Were they also living underground?
Half the time? No.
That's
surprisingly.
That's the Hasidic mob.
Gotcha. Okay.
So ridiculous.
Anyway.
Down with the curls.
So the mission was a success. They actually sold the boats and took them to Largo, Nigeria. Part of the plan, obviously, because Spain was quote unquote neutral. Spain was pissed.
Are you just skipping over how they accomplished it?
I could be,
because that is the funniest part.
What's Spanish for Scheisse?
I don't. My Spanish is dog shit, dog.
So
go for it. I'm sorry, I must have missed that note.
So I did all my research last week when we were actually supposed to do this episode. So
thanks, DJ.
Forgive me if this isn't
Oh yeah, thanks DJ and John for letting me fill in for both of you. Essentially, DJ for attendance and John for me researching last night. I fucking love this feeling.
Yeah. So they pulled up in tugboats, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they had an inside man. So they had a guy who was pretending to work on this supply ship, and he was just gathering information and stuff like that. And he found out that the people who worked on the ship loved to fucking party and drink and stuff.
I did actually write that down. I don't know where the fuck I put it at though.
I don't know.
That's where we're going. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm gonna have a bash. I'm gonna have a big old party. I'm gonna have a rager. On this specific night, and we're all gonna get wasted, guys. And they're all like, yeah, hell yeah, blah. Mm-hmm. So they get super
German.
fucked up. Yeah.
Brandy's rendition of German German men.
Yeah.
Well, hell yeah.
I don't know.
We're so crazy.
What's like do something crazy. So like, wait, what's like a German like expression of joy?
There are none.
Yeah, I was gonna say like you gotta like there's how dry their humor actually is.
All their joy ended in 1945.
Okay, well, back then I guess they were still joyful and they were partying and they all got absolutely hammered. And they when the British guys came up on their tugboats, they like ran into a guard. And the guard was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, well, he didn't want to like shoot him because then it would be like a red flag or whatever."
Sure.
So he was like, "No, I actually have a letter for the captain." And the guard was like, "Oh, all right, cool. Come on in. We're having a party." And so they just like let him onto the boat. They actually had guys come and like help them onto the boat. And, you know, everyone was kind of too drunk to do anything about it. So, yeah.
I feel like that's a common theme with our stories on this podcast. Like, like when I talked about Olga of Kiev. And she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get them drunk and then kill them all."
Yeah.
And she did.
That's all you gotta do. You gotta get them real drunk.
Yeah. So men are weak to women, and so if you want secrets, power the boom boom, and then get them drunk.
Why do you think the Catholic Church is unstoppable?
We're gonna get canceled.
I'm just saying.
Are we gonna have to start editing these episodes?
No, if the Vatican shows up at my house, I'll handle it.
I'll be right here
You're
with
like,
you.
I have a plan.
I'll be right here with you.
I'll take care of it. It's fine.
Well, we did a Troubles episode. We can take them. Boy, bro.
Oh, God.
Yep, it's good stuff. It's good times. So yeah, like they like I don't know why I didn't have that. I know
like the
that,
best
and I
part of
did
the
not
story.
write that down. I don't know why I didn't have that in my notes here.
I don't know, man.
So weird, such a weird thing.
You're
but anyways,
welcome, I guess.
this you know,
I was supposed to just sit here and look pretty.
you're doing great.
Thank you.
It's an audio forum.
It's really just to inspire us to keep to you know
Yeah.
to do a better
She's
job.
after the secrets.
Fuck. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So, as part of the ruse to, like I mentioned earlier, the Spanish were quote unquote neutral. So, as part of the ruse to keep this operation seeming like it actually was not sanctioned by the British government, they actually had them get captured by quote unquote by the British. So he's like, "Oh, you assholes! How dare you do this thing that we told you not to against the Germans?
Get in the jail cell.
Yeah,
right
go
now.
into your cell and think about how bad you've been. You bad person, you."
Give me your wrist.
They've really fallen from the times of Shakespeare. Shit.
That's something I thought about covering on this podcast too. The Shakespeare thing, like, was he actually Shakespeare, or was it somebody?
Or was it Francis Bacon?
Or was it somebody else?
I love that theory.
It's-
Can we do it? Can we do it?
Yeah, we should do that.
It's easily debunked, but have you ever looked into the Phantom Time
I have.
theory? Yeah, it's easily debunked, but it's still
Like a
just
cool
an
thing to think
interesting.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took a whole class
Yeah,
on history.
Charlemagne.
I had a whole class in college on Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Actually,
That is like one of the most interesting like theories ever. I love it.
I'm a big fan
love
of it.
so much.
if DJ was here, I'd tell him to write it down. But
DJ, we know
Write
you're
it
listening
down.
to this. Write that down.
write that down.
Write that down right now.
Hey, future DJ.
Future DJ.
Right.
You're still a disappointment. I'll write it down. Prove me wrong and write it down.
Right. So yeah, that's a good one. We definitely cover that. Also, I've been really wanting to go back to the Shakespeare Theater in Chicago. It's been a while.
I went there in high school.
I've been there a few times. It's nice.
I've only ever been in high school, and it was really cool. It was fun.
Oh, yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah, it was great. I had plans to go to see one of my favorite plays, but then COVID happened, and well, never brought it back because they hate us. I want to see Othello there, and it was playing the week of my birthday actually.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
But my birthday was in April, and,
It was the
and
heat of
then
it.
March
Yeah, it was the heat of it.
Anywho, so about this Operation Mincemeat, moving a year forward in history, actually. Again, this is 1943. This is still before when it was still like the Ally. And it's literally just, I feel like they were in a room of just a bunch of smoke and British accents and tea, speaking about various ways to fuck over the Germans.
Dude, Darkest Hour.
That's what I had in my head, actually, yes.
That's the image.
That's what I had in my head, you're right. So I didn't write down too much about this because there is a movie covering this, which I think the movie was actually pretty accurate, if I remember serves.
Mincemeat's very good.
Yeah, it's
very good.
I think that was on Netflix too, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I didn't know there was a movie.
I actually watched that recently, so it might still be on there.
Yeah, it was a dude from
Colin Firth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I only really know.
I love Colin Firth.
Yeah, he's
the main the main
one of two.
Well, yeah,
I forget who the other guy is.
his counterpart was.
Probably
Yeah,
another British actor.
it was.
Yeah, but
It was.
like Colin Firth definitely gets like more screen time, so I just can't quite remember.
But who's mad about it? Really, Colin Firth's a great actor.
Colin Firth
I enjoy him.
should get more screen
I never
time.
saw him in anything until I watched Kingsman.
Kingsman, that's where I know him
Love
from
those movies.
vividly. but-
Actually, you know what? No, I take that back. That's what I know him from. But he was actually in that movie for the Wannsee Conference, Conspiracy, that I brought up during the Heydrich episode. He's some Nazi bureaucrat in that.
We know Colin Firth from vastly different films.
I believe that.
I feel that we know vastly different films in general.
I agree.
I know that's true.
I know Colin Firth from Love Actually and Bridget Jones' Diary.
I know one of those titles.
Yeah, I do. Well, I know Love Actually as a title, but I never watched
Bridget
it.
Jones' Diary.
Oh, this is awkward.
I remember hearing that years back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Love Actually.
Wait, you haven't seen Love Actually?
Nor have I seen Bridget Jones' Diary.
The amount of movies that we collectively need to watch.
When I found out that Bridget Jones did not write a diary in an attic, I turned it off.
God damn it. Just,
Can we do the wah wah?
give me a second here to find it.
That's how we feel about your Holocaust jokes, Ben.
Proceed, sir.
Sure. All right. So, the next two operations I'm going to talk about Operation Mincemeat and Operation Underworld, because they're actually, one follows the other one, essentially. So, chronologically, Mincemeat was first. So, what's going on here? Fast forward a little bit in history. A year. This is actually when there were the Allies, U.S. and Britain, and where the fuck's left of France? It's his army, because I think they weren't in Africa. Never mind.
No.
Well, they were, but on the wrong side of history. But
yeah, it's pretty much the French Resistance.
It was, but I was talking about the part of France that was under Nazi control that actually fired against the Allies.
Yeah, Vichy France.
Yeah, those assholes. Yeah, but they were in Africa, if I remember correctly. When the Allies tried to land in Africa originally, they got shot at by the French.
I believe you're right.
Yeah, because
there was that and the naval exchange.
Well, yeah, that whole thing, right? So just to give context, what we just talked about,
the French suck.
Well, other than that,
help me out here, guys.
Yeah, sorry. So
some funny hats shot at some even funnier hats.
That
makes perfect sense.
But on the ocean,
tea versus wine.
Yeah, tea versus you had crumpets versus baguettes in the ocean.
Can't we all just make a charcuterie board and get along?
No, there is not a place at my table for the French.
So after the Vichy government, the false government of France was installed, and after the French government was actually still in power, quote unquote, underneath the German occupation, Winston Churchill was like, "Hey, you guys have a navy on the south of France. Destroy it." Like, nah. Like, either you blow it up or we're going to blow it up for you. And they did. France was like, no. Churchill was like, hi, then. Open fire. And they destroyed France's navy.
One cigar later.
Indeed. So
and they were like, sacre bleu.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went down.
Yeah.
And then in retaliation for that, when the Allied forces were trying to land in Africa, the French military fired against the British and Americans.
Brandy did just hit on it, and it's the fact that the French are continuously surprised by the most predictable things. The most predictable things. It bewilders me.
Well, what was them like? Not running away from the Germans. So, this takes place after the campaign in Africa was actually successful. So, you had American and British forces landing in Africa, going against Erwin Rommel, the Desert Fox, his forces. They eventually lost. The Germans lost, got pushed back out of Africa. Rommel was flown out. The rest of the military surrendered. And now you have the Allies in the south of Europe, essentially. So north of Africa, southern tip of Italy, which Mussolini, dickhead, da-da-da. Anyways, so...
Uh-oh.
There's a thing I told you about and our failing schools. And I got to bring it up.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's actually what made me think about this, partially, because I'm like, you mentioned that our school system has failed your family. And how they just don't know shit about World War II.
Yeah, no. The other conversation that you and I had this.
Oh, yeah, about the Mussolini thing?
Yes. That not only was World War I confused with World War II, and somehow, and how did I phrase it to you? They thought that somebody named Tortellini
there we go.
was killed, and that started World War I. At which point I had to decipher that you're talking about two different world wars. Mm-hmm. Forgot that it's Franz Ferdinand, an Archduke of Austria-Hungary, in Serbia, and you have confused him with Mussolini, who it comes from another war in a different country.
Yep.
My friend has a cat named Tortellini.
Don't I know this friend?
I don't think so.
Because I know a cat named Tortellini.
Who do you know that has a cat?
I can't remember. That's why it's driving me nuts, actually. But I know about a cat
It's a girl named Nicole that I went to school with.
It is a girl, but I don't think her name's Nicole.
Okay.
Anyways.
That'd be so funny if we had the same friend.
Yeah, like, I know a cat named Tortellini for sure.
And this is how you found out?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Tortellini.
Yeah,
Tortellini, the Italian dictator.
Also the cat.
Can't stand up to hot water.
I just pictured a cat in place of Mussolini in every picture that I have of him. And it's fantastic.
Meow Salini.
Because we already because we already have Hitler, the cat that's been going around the internet that looks like
Can
Hitler.
we please have a T-shirt that's just like dictators redrawn as cats?
DJ, write that down.
DJ, write that down.
Damn it!
I'm just trying to think what you're going to do with her Hirohito. Siamese.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was just about to say it. Like,
Wow.
Yeah.
obviously, it's not even a question.
I didn't think about it. I'm not a cat person.
You're not a cat
I'm not either.
Yeah, we're lucky I even got there. Because now I'm wondering, what did we do for Stalin, Pol Pot, Saddam?
A Siberian cat, obviously.
Stalin would be one of those big fluffy cats.
A Siberian?
Okay.
Yeah.
You can't do that because he had the second most distinctive mustache and all of
They have funny looking mustaches. When hair grows out, yeah.
Okay. That'll do.
We got this figured out. We got this.
Yeah,
don't
worry
worry.
about it.
We'll take care of all of this.
Pol Pot's still the question. And Mao. Oh, Mao's easy. You just buzz the top of the cat's head.
And then you have a speech bubble of him going, meow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, and his great leap forward is just him jumping off a counter.
Poorly.
Failing horribly. Jeez.
Crushing everything underneath him. Mao, if you can hear this in hell, you suck.
Right, you suck.
You piece of shit.
Bastard.
We're turning you into a cat.
Yes, now the whole country of China hates us. That's fine.
Read your little red book, you fuck.
Right? Bastard. Okay.
Wait, where were we?
I don't even know anymore. Yes, Operation Mincemeat. We're talking about
I'm never going to stop thinking about this cat idea.
It's fantastic, really.
All because of one kid at work.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Allies taking over North Africa. The next step in the plan, at least Churchill's plan, is to invade the island of Sicily and then Italy from there, going for the south. Because I believe he described Italy as the soft
underbelly
of Europe, which she was completely wrong about. But anyway, that's not the point. So what's going on is they need to figure out a way to subterfuge Germany into moving their forces out of that area, allowing the Allies to have a easier landing. So what they figured out in some dark room filled with smoke and crumpets is to use a dead body dressed as an officer holding fake military plans to trick the Germans. And
I would have told that story so much differently.
well, go ahead, give it a shot.
Well, no, it's too late now because you already ruined it.
Is it?
Well, fuck. All right, give it a shot.
You got to tell it from the perspective of the people who found him, and then at the end of the story, reveal that it was actually a dead homeless guy.
Well, then how about you go and do it then? Like, take over.
Well, I didn't know we were talking about this, or I would have. No, you continue.
No, you got.
Keep going, King.
Oh well, fuck me then. Apparently, I ain't shit.
Aaron, you're doing great.
Thank you.
You're doing great.
Yeah, kings uplift kings over here getting fucking my goddamn feelings hurt my own fucking house.
I'm just saying that's how it was told. That's like how I heard the story. I think I listened to it on like a podcast or something. You know what? I think I heard it. Did I hear it on Mr. Ballin? I might have heard it on Mr. Ballin. And he tells his stories like backwards, and then he has like a surprise reveal at the end. And I was like, oh damn, that was really cool.
I'm really addicted to the Y files lately.
To which, what is it?
The Y files.
The Y files?
Mm-hmm.
What is
on
that
YouTube.
That's a podcast, or is it just like a YouTube channel?
I would say it's a YouTube show in a podcast format.
Gotcha.
Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You listen
enough.
to Mr. Ballin?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually about the stuff that goes on in Appalachia.
Those are good.
Yeah. That's the
Those are
stuff that
super
interests
good.
me.
He used to be a
Well,
Navy SEAL.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
I only found that out recently, and actually it was just on the Sean Ryan show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think I saw like a thumbnail for that.
Yeah, it was just like literally a week after I found out that he served. He's on the Sean Ryan show. Like, well, that was timing.
Sorry. Anyway.
Oh, you're fine. I just kind of disassociated for a minute there. Gave my brain a break.
Now you know how I feel.
Like, all right, brain, you can take a few minutes off.
Homer Simpson, I'm out of here.
Yeah, dude. Like, I flatlined for a minute there. I'm like, I need to move something from that shelf to that shelf. Then I'm like, oh, Godzilla. I should watch that movie.
Have you seen that TikTok of like it's like a sound and girls will be like, me walking with my man, mind empty, and it's like the guy will be like, all right, yeah, there's an exit door over there, but if someone comes out that way, and he's like really thinking about everything, and then it pans over to the girl and she's just like, just like zoning the fuck out.
Must be nice.
It's an appropriate song.
I was a passenger princess this weekend for my birthday, and
Hell yeah, you were.
it was great. I was like, I was in my Dymo was driving, and I'm sitting there passenger I'm just having no thoughts, just vibes. This is great.
I'm usually a passenger princess because Belina always drives and she insists on driving. So like anytime we go anywhere,
bold move.
she does not let me drive.
It's a very bold move.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
The insurance you got, double up.
Right. Life.
For whatever reason, everybody thinks I'm a bad driver. I'm not a bad driver.
I almost thought about Molina.
I know. I'm not talking about you guys, but like a lot of people think I'm a bad driver, but I'm not.
I've never rode with you anywhere, so I don't have a reference point.
Good driver.
I believe you.
Thank you.
All right, so this fucking guy that got found, right? Homeless dude, as I mentioned before, can't pronounce his name for shit, so 'cause that's literally like a bunch of letters.
Keyboard smash.
Glendor.
Oh, Glendor, I think is. I'm just going off how they pronounce it.
GLYNDWR.
I know. And I want to say they in the movie. I think they were pronouncing it Glendor.
So this dude named Glendor, not a wizard.
Sounds like a wizard.
Sounds like a fucking wizard.
Very
but no,
Lord
he's
of
a
the
homeless dude that died of rat poison. And also
The new Rasputin.
Again. But instead of us saving this man's dick, we just threw him in the ocean with a bunch of military plans.
You guys haven't listened to our episode on Rasputin.
That was one of our early ones. That was very, very early on in our podcast.
That was one of the most iconic episodes.
We started off real hot apparently, and it's kind of dwindled since then. The long and short of the story, though, is he was carrying military plans that end up tricking the Germans and then moving their forces to protect Greece and not Sicily. which is odd because Sicily was the most logical next step. Is right there. Anyways, whatever. They're Nazis. They're not smart.
No.
So that's the long and short of that. What I was getting to, though, the reason why I brought that up is because I thought about Operation Underworld first. And I'm like, well, there was a plan before that plan.
Well, can I add a detail of
Oh, yeah, please do.
Mincemeat? So it was it was actually like crazy because they like, so basically they gave him the identity of a British soldier that actually existed. And they like had his wife like write him letters, and they would like stick those letters in this guy's pockets. So like when they found him, they like rummaged through his pockets, and they found like, you know, like his picture of his wife and letters from her, and then they verified her identity, and they're like, holy shit, this is actually this guy or whatever. So like that was really interesting detail. They like really went all out to make it seem like this was a legit soldier.
No, was it actually his wife, or was it the woman working on the project?
It might have been. It might have been the woman working.
That's the way the movie.
I thought it was.
portrays it.
I thought it was his actual wife, but I guess I could be wrong.
Because Mincemeat isn't one of the ones that I've researched a ton.
Yeah.
Or anything, but just going off the movie, the only person that shows up to claim him, I think it's his sister. And then they kind of give her the, you know, the bums rush. No pun intended, but the bums rush because, you know, they've waited months to find a body suitable and one that drowned.
Yeah.
Or something that would pass for drowning.
That's sad.
At the very least. And apparently rat poison fits that.
Sure. Everybody knows.
Well, in that day,
Die of rat poison. Looks like you drown.
in that day and time, as far as what coroners could detect.
Yeah.
And whatnot. And I want to say it was in the movie, it's the woman or one of the women that's working on the project that it's her picture
Okay.
in his pocket and writes letters and whatnot. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe they left out a detail or changed
It could be
some stuff.
I thought it was his actual wife because I thought that they like looked him up and like verified that he was married to this person. But they could have just like set that all up. So I could be wrong.
No. I mean, the movie could be wrong. They could have gone artistic license. I don't know.
I don't know either. Something.
Artistic
like
license is a bitch.
Well, yeah, totally. So yeah, dead homeless dude. Stupid Nazis.
Very inappropriate name.
Not a wizard.
Like how rude.
He literally couldn't buy a vowel.
Right? He couldn't buy a vowel. Also not a wizard.
I mean, he was broke, so.
And also not a wizard. Because, I mean, obviously, like, he could be broke and a wizard.
I mean, well, yeah. Merlin lived in a hut.
He did.
Well,
What if he was a wizard?
And Gandalf the Grey
nobody knew about it.
was living in the woods. Pretty sure.
What if they thought he was a homeless guy, but he really was just a wizard?
That ate rat poison.
he was a shitty wizard. He deserved what he got.
I mean,
He had a vision, and he knew that this was his destiny. So he's like, I'm gonna eat this.
It was probably him hallucinating from dying from
rat poison.
from rat poison.
And
He
that's
had a vision.
Yep, there we go.
This is what really happened in my head.
Obviously. So Operation Underworld, I'm going to give the very short version of this because there's a lot to unpack with this operation. Mainly because of the characters that it involves. Like, there's some very big names involved with what we're trying to do here. So, as I mentioned before, we're trying to, the Allies are going to invade Sicily. And who do we know in America that's very Sicilian, who might be able to give us a leg up in that country? 1940s.
Somebody can make an offer you can't refuse.
A few officers would never want to refuse, indeed. Charles Lucky Luciano, one of the most infamous mobsters of all time. Was currently in jail in America for, I think it was prostitution he got busted with.
Yeah.
He was serving like 30 to 50 years, so he was going to be in there for the rest of his life, essentially.
For prostitution.
Well, having a ring of it.
Yeah.
It's the same way they took down Capone. Just,
for like bullshit reasons.
for
They
taxes,
couldn't nail him for other
because
stuff.
they could, get him.
So, like Luciano, we've actually kind of mentioned him on the podcast briefly when we talked about the history of unions, because this has a lot to do with it. It kind of starts off with the government making deals with the mafia to protect the shipping yards. So, going hand in hand with talking about the unions and how they had this all locked down with the mafia, they pretty much were like, hey guys, we know that you run the unions and all the shipping yards. Do us a favor. Because anybody suspicious? Sleeping with the fishes. And they did.
Hey, that rhymes.
I know.
Look at you.
Didn't do it on purpose.
Put that on a t-shirt.
DJ. Damn it.
DJ, you got a lot of work to do.
Fucking
Right.
Dr. Seuss and the mob, 1 fish, 2 fish. No fish.
So the mafia started protecting the shipping yards, especially from anything suspicious coming in. So the big worry with the shipping yards going to the American shipping going to England at the time was one, trying to make sure that it wasn't sabotaged, so that our supplies were getting there in one piece before the U-boats got to them. The second part was to make sure that they weren't importing any spies into America. They were trying to start up any kind of revolutions or riots or anything like that, because at the time there was a Nazi party in America that needed to also be dealt with.
And England.
Yeah, and England too.
Yeah.
Well, that's when I mentioned, I think, was that episode that we were on together when I was talking about the Kennedys?
We did, yeah.
Did we talk about
Northwoods. When we were talking about Joe Kennedy.
I brought it up on like an episode recently too about how Joe Kennedy was definitely a fucking Nazi.
Yeah, we were talking about.
I mean, that exact statement was definitely said during the Northwoods episode.
Well, fuck him twice then.
Oh, definitely.
The episode we just did on lobotomies and stuff with cats.
Oh yeah, because that's right. Because
of Rosemary Kennedy.
Rosemary Kennedy was lobotomized. Right, that's right. So
He
yeah, fuck that
lobotomized his own
guy
daughter.
a few times actually.
So
Yeah.
was JFK, but continue.
Well, that's a whole other mafia issue.
Well, I meant the lobotomy.
Oh, well, he definitely got whacked.
It was a high-speed lobotomization.
Dude, hey man,
Oh my God.
they went too far.
High speed lobotomy.
I mean, we can take it a step further. There were two things that were an open top.
Yeah, he definitely had room to
I gotta go.
breathe.
I gotta go.
Transparent
You
presidency.
guys have fun with the rest of the podcast.
Oh, come on, that was a solid one. Transparent presidency.
Oh my God.
See right through the motherfucker.
You would say he was an open book. Anyway.
Someone's gonna be in the comments like too soon.
when the book highlights everything else.
Like I said before, shipping ports, like Luciano. Part of, like I said, the most infamous probably monster because he was the founder of the commission.
He's the one that pushed out the old world, Marzano and all them, because back then they had the boss of bosses, and he was basically the one that got rid of all that consolidated power between the five, five families in New York. And then made all the other families, it doesn't get talked about a lot, but like Jersey, Philly, Detroit, Milwaukee, Kansas City, all kind of report to those other families. They don't have a seat at the commission, but represented through the other families,
right,
and everything.
Right.
Put the organized in organized crime.
He did, yes, that is true. They had to completely rewrite the playbook just to get rid of him. So as I mentioned, though, the dude was in jail, but his family was obviously still very much so in power. What he did was he hated Mussolini, Tortellini. With all of his power. He hated Mussolini with every bit of his being, mainly because of. Mainly because
he just didn't like the 3 cheese version.
Of course not. It gave him gas. So, and back to the Germans. Anyways, I gotta go.
And thanks for listening to Required Taste Podcast.
So he made a deal with the government. He's pretty much saying like, hey, I'll help you guys with the shipping the docks. I'll help you guys get into to Sicily, but I'm gonna need my sentence reduced. Pretty much was the deal. They came up with Operation Husky, 1934. This was when the Allies actually did invade Sicily. What happened was when they invaded, there may or may not have been nobody to greet them. There may not have been any Italian soldiers there to shoot at them. It might have been a mob boss in Sicily that was there to greet them with some friendly faces. Maybe a couple of soldiers were visiting family over there. perhaps there was some food for them to eat when they got there. Maybe a warm reception, if you will. Maybe there is no war in Sicily. I don't know.
I feel that you do.
I feel like someone knows something.
Yeah, so for sure. Like they landed, nothing happened. Like they landed, were invited into Sicily with open arms.
Like Italian grandmothers are just like.
Well, it's funny because if you look at a lot of the enlistments of people back then, a lot of them actually they had family in Sicily. Mm-hmm. So like soldiers were literally like almost on vacation at that point. Like, oh, my family, grandmother. Yeah. It was great.
Grandma still sounds like Brando.
Obviously.
Somebody's Nona is just like, I'm sorry, I'll eat.
Somebody,
I've been eating for 2 days.
somebody's grandma, look at what they did to my boy. They massacred my boy.
You're so skinny.
Honestly, though, like
they're not feeding you over there.
Because like they cook for an army anyways, and there's literally an army there to eat. So like, it's fine. It worked out. Yeah. So because of the ease of the invasion of Sicily, and for his cooperation, Lucky Luciano was let out of prison and deported to Sicily. He just went home. Like, all right, dude, thanks.
Like, all right, get out of here.
So the government released the most notorious mobster of all time to go home because
to his Nona to eat some tortellini.
Have you ever looked into the symbol of fascism?
What do you mean?
Since it was an Italian invention.
Oh, well, sure.
And there's that I forget what the hell its name is. It's where fascism gets its name, but that axe head with all the poles wrapped around it and whatnot. Yes. Yeah, that exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, real interesting story. It goes back to the Romans.
Okay.
Oh yeah, all the way back. Like they did the same thing that the Japanese did with Bushido.
Yeah, and
pull on those not heredity, but cultural strings.
Yeah, sure.
Also, let me just share this.
This one was a cat.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You were here, and I was proud, and now you're just back to normal. I'm not disappointed, but you're just back to normal.
It's a cat dressed like Mussolini. It's Meowsolini.
We're almost done.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I still got mine. Don't forget.
Oh shit, my bad.
We can make it.
I just want to also briefly mention that Meyer Lansky, the head of the Jewish mafia, also had a big problem with the Nazis for a reason. Couldn't put my finger on why. Yeah.
Couldn't guess.
And also did help out the Allied forces with everything they needed on stateside. So there are a lot of anti-spy stuff going on with the mafia at that point. Just trying to weed out anybody that was trying to Germanize America.
Yeah, people forget what war. I mean, not that we remember because we weren't around, but people forget how like scarce everything was during. Like supplying anything back then was a grand effort, and so where you had the strange bedfellows, situation with the war, and where you were just grasping at straws, where scrap drives. And everything back then, all the way up to, teaming up with the mob and everything. It was a different world.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
If you want to win.
Yeah. And I was trying to remember because there was definitely a picture of it. So when the Allies did land on Sicily, there's a picture of the mob boss in Sicily riding on one of our tanks.
I know what you're talking about.
Don Callow.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Definitely did it. Yeah, definitely rode on top of a tank.
If you come across that, send it to me. I'll put it on social.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah. Like just to show like how much that helped just get that part of the war together. Because the rest of the war in Italy went horribly wrong. And that's a whole nother story that I do not have covered right now. Just know that the arrogance of certain generals caused a lot of Americans to die. And that's
as per usual.
As per fucking usual. Anywho, what's up?
Well, we're going to me now?
Oh, yeah, man.
Okay. So, 1942. Ish. And basically, German German atomic weapon program up in Norway.
Oh yeah, I know the story.
Yeah. So there's basically the Germans went about their atomic program a little bit different than us, a little less Jewish, which did not help them.
No, because they killed all the people that were actually smart enough to make it.
Precisely. And
jackasses.
I really want to know if Oppenheimer's line was true. If in the movie where he was going on about Hitler calling it Jewish science.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I never looked into that. I kept meaning to. And but anyway, so there's the way the Germans did it, and I'm not a physicist, so I don't know, but basically there's this thing that the Germans require called heavy water that was facilitating their version of their atomic program, and it got fucked up. And
a lot happened to fuck it up.
Yeah, so there are a couple of operations. The first one called Operation Freshman, where a team of Norwegians that were trained by SOE, Norwegian Commandos, were sent in by glider. And I think it was 4 at first, were sent in to recon the area, facilitate the follow-up team coming in, and it ended up in an absolute disaster because they're using gliders and a whole host of meteorological circumstances that cause it to go wrong. And so anyway, gliders crash. How many people? I think 3 or 4 people survived, I want to say. And an interesting fact is that the Nazis Hitler specifically had this thing called the commando rule, and it was kind of new at the time, where if you were found not wearing a uniform, you were not treated like a prisoner of war. You were jailed, interrogated, and then killed. And so under being a spy, or they called it the commando rule, or maybe that's what we call it, because maybe I don't know if it translates, but I know we call it the commando rule in English. And so they were called the Grouse team. They were the first team down. And after Freshman happened, they were on the ground still for weeks waiting for the next go around. That was the other thing. They weren't coming back out.
Right.
So they were waiting for the next group to come in for weeks, eating moss and this, that, and the other, and just surviving for all this time waiting for the next chance.
Did they eat each other?
No. This is not the Donner Party.
No, and thankfully not. But the problem is, it was also, wasn't it in the middle of winter?
Oh yeah,
when they did this.
Oh yeah,
so
100%.
the middle of Norwegian winter, this is all transpiring.
Yeah. Oh yeah, which sucks. And they're skiing everywhere that they go.
You sure they didn't eat each other?
Possibly didn't eat each other. And again, this needs to be a movie. This 100% needs to be a movie.
I bet they'll eat each other in the movie.
If they do, I'm blaming you exclusively.
Honestly.
You're welcome.
And so, the Grouse team is on ground for, however long. And until the gunner side, now the new operation gunner side takes aim, or takes flight rather. And a new team is sent in. And they land. And I want to say when they land, I think they're 30 miles away from where they need to meet up. So it's just a series of angry, well-armed Norwegians skiing through the countryside to find each other.
Yeah,
and everything until they get together, and they're all fueled by moss and hate for the Germans.
That's all you need, man.
And that's all you need.
They didn't have radios or anything.
Some, but again, it's
I'm over here by the tree.
It's not.
What?
Going by the snow pile, or
it's not how it is now. It's definitely not as it is now, and batteries did not last as long.
No.
So yeah, I mean, you're doing everything by time, coordination, coordinates, and all that kind of thing.
I think I saw a mountain.
So if I throw a blanket over to you, do you just think it's nighttime? Do you just power down?
Jeez, dude. I have 2 blankets over there if you want to try it.
That actually sounds kind of nice.
Yeah, I definitely don't have my heat turned on, so I mean, like, it's...
Brandy's going to start being the ghost in your house.
Dude, I would be so pissed.
If I die, I'm totally haunting your house.
Because, like, if you're my ghost now, you're going to want my snacks.
So,
Yeah.
No.
so
I'm a ghost. You can't stop me.
So I have an aunt that's paralyzed from the neck down, and she's actively waiting to die because she wants to haunt. She wants to have her mobility back and ability to haunt. Mm-hmm. And Jamie, I love you. I know you're listening.
Do you think you get to pick your ghost outfit, or is it just whatever you die in?
That's a good question.
We should definitely address that on the next episode.
I think we should.
I feel like I'm dressing up as Henry VIII.
That's a lot going on there. That's a lot to take in.
Maybe
honestly.
uncomfortable. That's
Like,
what you're in for the rest of eternity.
And like you say, Henry, like he didn't always have a cod piece. He had a cod piece obsession.
This is true. I didn't think about the cod piece.
Thank you. I'd rather not have you floating around my house on a cod piece.
What about just the cod piece?
That's what I'm referencing. That's what I said.
Wait, I don't want to be haunting
Anyways.
this place if Ben is also haunting this place.
What's wrong with me
in
haunting
a
the
cod
place?
piece.
the cod piece part.
Don't cod shame.
There's not enough snacks in this house for the three of us.
Accurate.
We're dead.
Also accurate. Anyways, tell us your story.
So, so the Gunner side team lands. They get together, this and the other. They end up going to this plant where the heavy water is. I don't want to say distilled, but
I mean, that's kind of the part of the process.
yeah, it just seemed
Because
wrong.
Norway was the only place that could actually produce it.
Yeah,
Wait,
correct.
wait,
Well,
wait.
actually, produce is the
Can we
word I want
explain
to use.
what heavy water is? Because I don't know.
All right, give me a second because
Yeah.
I cannot explain it without actually looking it up.
It's
Okay.
I always have to re-look it up.
Is it just like
'Cause-
water that's really heavy?
No,
Well,
it's
somebody look it up
All
then.
right, so heavy water is a form of water whose hydrogen atoms are all
they're like bashed into
yeah. Anyways,
yeah.
are deuterium. DEUTERIUM.
You're on the right path. That's
Sure.
a sequence of letters I remember.
Thanks. Rather than the common hydrogen one isotope. So yeah.
That explains nothing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
So what it is used for is actually a coolant to transport heat generated by fission, by the fission reaction to secondary coolant light water. So it's needed to cool the fission process, the nuclear fission
There you go.
of the bomb.
There you
So
It's science water.
so,
yeah,
yes.
science water.
Okay, got it,
Yeah,
got
I
it,
have never been good at chemistry ever in my life. So like
me
this is
either.
completely out of my depth.
H2O with an extra H. So that's not real.
No, that's it's
No.
actually D2O, but
No,
okay.
I just wanted to be a wise ass.
Let's just stick with science water.
So,
Science water, exactly.
so they go to this plant. It's a massive plant in the Norwegian mountains. Small team. They go in. Actually, they end up going through a cable chute. The team that breaks off with the explosives. They go through this cable chute and they're crawling for about 10 minutes. And this thing just quiet as can be because the place is, I think, staffed 24 hours. So crawling through and they bust in, hold everybody at gunpoint. This and there. Oh, actually, important note: before the raid happens or the operation happens, they actually took off their snow camouflage, and they were all, even though they're Norwegians, they're all wearing British uniforms. This was to discourage the Nazis from doing any kind of reprisals to the nearest village.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
And so they're crawling through as these fake Brits end up in the basement, plant their charges, this, that, and the other, set the fuses, and they leave. And the thing blows. Contrary to your story, nobody knows it happened because there's so much concrete in this place that nobody hears. It's like a dull thud, like somebody dropped something.
Like,
You know, like when
Keep in all the science.
yeah, like when someone tips over in an industrial environment. You know, it's
Yeah.
just, what was that? Whatever.
yeah, whatever.
I don't hear screaming.
Yep.
You know, and they they blow the lab, or not lab, but the
Factory.
Yeah, that portion of it, and the electrolysis tubes, I think, or electrolysis cans, something like that.
For making the science water.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And fucking science water.
I'm trying to keep on your same page here. You got to speak my language.
I know, it just derailed my train of thought for a second for some reason. So they do that, and they get the hell out of there. It blows, and nobody knows it happened until the fire starts coming through. But then
The fire part.
yeah,
Yep.
and then since nobody's seen them, not a shot has been fired. Nobody has, they left a Tommy gun. A single Tommy gun behind, so that they would know that the Allies did this, not
not the Norwegians
or a resistance movement, or anything like that. So
that's very important. So.
So that the Allies did this, and then they've been in the Norwegian wilderness for weeks now. Some of them, and some a little longer, and have seen their friends die. Again, some of them. After getting captured and this and the other. And then they all split off into the great unknown, the great white unknown during winter, because they have a better chance of surviving if they get found as like pairs or alone, and they're just trekking through the snow for, and some of them stayed.
Okay.
For future operations.
Yeah, because that's not the end of the story with heavy water.
Yeah, no.
There's something else happened after this.
Actually, thanks for getting me back on track. What they ended up doing, though, and what was so important was 2 years worth of that heavy water that they destroyed. And because it's acquired in such a slow
it takes so long to do it, right?
And they took out a 2-year supply. And I mean, whether or not the Germans would have made a bomb, debatable.
Well,
but they weren't at that after that.
So there was another part of the story. It actually might have been different commandos that did this. But I know it was the Norwegians that did it for sure, though. The people that worked on the docks that had the ship that they destroyed that sank to the bottom.
Okay.
So
yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
So are you done with your part? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. The only other thing I was going to bring up was Anthropoid was also SOE. The killing Hydric.
Yeah.
That was important. That was an SOE. Same thing, but those were checks.
So by the way, just real quick about the science water. So the heavy water is actually applied to apparently U-238, which allows it to go undergo fission. So that's why it's important. That's why they needed it at least. Okay. The part of the story I'm going to talk about, though, I'm not sure if it was. I just know off the top of my head. But there was a boat that was carrying heavy water from Norway to Germany.
Why didn't it sink if the water was so heavy?
Buoyancy. Anyways, so they set charges on the timer. The boat left dock and was sank in the middle of the river heading out of Norway down to Germany. What was actually kind of cool about it is that we recently found it, and the canisters are actually still full of it.
Whoa,
which is kind of interesting.
Dude, wow. Is it still like used in science?
I don't know,
but
probably. I don't know.
The one thing about the heavy water that I learned is that it takes next to nothing to make it impure, though.
Yeah, so they're still. I don't know if it's still good or not, but they're still. They said there's something in it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
So there's
it's
a show
slightly less heavy water.
Yeah, it's like medium water.
It's like lighter water.
Right. It's just slightly. It's like a little chunky.
It's dirty heavy water.
Oh, geez.
Charlie.
Fuck.
It's like heavy seltzer.
Fuck. That's good. So there's a show called Drain the Ocean Drain the Ocean on National Geographic. It's part of the Disney Plus package. They actually have an episode covering that.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool.
That's the only reason I know about it.
Oh, okay. No, and I don't know why I know that story. I just know I read it.
Yeah,
I mean, a long time ago.
It's good stuff. It goes over that, and then it goes over the ship that was sunk when it was trying to go the other way. Yeah, probably there was an underground like torpedo bay that nobody knew about over in Norway. Anyways, yeah, watch the show. It's good stuff.
Did they do the Bismarck?
Yeah, that was over on there.
Okay. I'm gonna have to check that out.
There's like 6 seasons of this show now, man.
Jeez,
I know, it's good stuff.
Is it just all stuff that's in the ocean?
Well, they're draining the ocean.
Yeah, they're using LiDAR to like big 3D models of what's like the sunken ships and shit. So they look like pretty much it'll look like what happens if you drain the ocean and can like go and look at it in person. They're
Okay.
doing that.
Well, that's better than taking a fucking submarine down there.
They actually cover. Well, they cover the Titanic, not that, but like, there's not enough of them to 3D print. Damn. Anyways, go ahead, Ben. What's your last one? Just so we can wrap this up. We're an hour and a half. So.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. If somebody's listening that didn't listen to the Hydric episode, Operation Anthropoid was the operation to kill Reinhard Heydrich, a huge figure in the Nazi Party and the SS and Gestapo and every other thing that we found out.
Yeah.
But he was killed in Prague by Czechs that were also trained by the SOE, and in a what did I say when we did it? In a very Franz Ferdinand manner, and
a Franz Ferdinandian manner,
and was killed by them, and they ended up in a standoff with 700 Nazis for several hours in a church.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we did talk about that.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, those are my SOE.
Only Colin Firth was there.
What?
Stand off in a church. Kingsman.
Yeah, but he also played a Nazi, so.
Well,
I'm
just saying. He was in it's the second one, right?
No, it's the first.
Oh, is it the first one? Okay.
The second one's the one where he has that eye patch. The second one was terrible.
The second one wasn't as good as the
I
first
didn't hate it. I thought it was okay.
Right?
It was all right.
I never saw the. Oh no, I did see the prequel they made.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I didn't see that.
I forgot what it was called. It was okay.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the first one was still the best, but you know how it is.
Yeah. Well, it's they didn't know what they wanted to do. Those are always the best movies. That's where it's like, we're just gonna make this thing.
Yep, it's gonna be great.
I don't know. It's just it's organic.
Sure.
That way.
We just talked last week too about Sucker Punch, and those movies have like similar cinematic styles. I think.
I never saw that.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. I feel like a lot of people haven't seen it.
I meant to. I just never.
I own it if you want to borrow it.
It flew over my head.
I feel like a lot of people haven't seen that movie, and that's a shame.
I don't even know if it's streaming anywhere.
I'm sure.
I'll look it up.
There you go.
Okay. Keep talking.
In the meantime, while B's doing that, we're gonna end this episode. So, thank you. What?
I didn't make her cry. She said I was gonna make her cry.
You didn't yell at me
before we
very much.
I didn't yell at you at all.
You just did. You're doing it right now.
I'm yelling at you about my yelling.
Stop yelling at
It doesn't count.
Here we go.
I miss John.
We'll work on that.
He knows how to take abuse.
I mean, look at his exes.
Wow.
Ooh, that was actually kind of mean.
Wow.
They actually listen to the show.
Yeah.
Just kidding, John. We love you.
I was talking about his exes. My bad.
I mean, you're saying some things about him as well.
That's also true. We love you, John. Anywho.
Yeah, you can't stream Sucker Punch like anywhere for free.
I own it if you want to borrow it. It's on Blu-ray. Got you.
Hell yeah.
Anywho, we're going to end this episode. Okay. So, thanks for everybody that listened to the episode. We appreciate it. If you stuck with us this far. Yeah. It's like an hour and a half in. So, sometimes we try to keep it under an hour. But yeah, it is. It happens. Get a little long-winded. Get a little sidetracked. You know how it goes.
Y'all just recently did one that was 2 hours. So I don't want to hear it.
That's not the point I'm making right now.
That happens.
I'm trying to say thank you to our listeners.
It happens every time I'm here.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
And it's true. And it's okay.
It is okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
I feel like it is.
So, to listeners that stuck with us this far, thank you for giving us a listen. Please give us a like and follow on your favorite social media and or listening service and device and what have you. We appreciate the constant support. We are throwing a little get together, a little shindiggy this Saturday at Foreign Local. We're going to be there around 5-ish. I know Turn Up Steve's going to be starting the burgers around 12:30 though. So if you do get there earlier, have a burger, have a beer. Enjoy it without us. Whatever. Support local businesses is important.
Yeah.
We appreciate all of you, and y'all be cool.
Bye.